from there itself we can what are things to be added. We can add it, right? Not
Um,
a scaling group itself.
no, that is
But how
configuration.
will
Yeah, that is configuration part, but we cannot achieve this scenario. But how we'll achieve whatever the data is there?
I did not get the
maybe can
question, Ranjit. Can you
maybe
repeat
can we
again?
create a
Yeah, Siva.
yes,
We
it is
can.
a scenario. Okay, in your production, you are implementing auto scaling. Okay, so when a server crash, you need to recreate the instance. Are we going to recreate the instance like a fresh server where no application, no data, nothing will be there? So in production, you are taking a backup of your image of that particular server every regular interval, every 1 hour, maybe 30 minutes, based on the cost that you have. Okay. So when a server crash, you recreate that particular image itself having every data and everything. Okay. And you start the process. So in auto scaling, when we are seeing the scenario, that means that you have a huge load. Okay. You want to increase at runtime itself when customer is demanding. It is not that you are going to recreate all those data and everything there. So those things will be there, the basic things. So in that scenario, you have to create means certain image where have more data than the raw server itself. So how you achieve that one?
Is it like image builder AMI? We need to capture backup in regular interval and then to
Means
restore.
how see one server is created means it will be like in auto scaling you create the server. After that, what process you need to follow that it will mirror that data to the new server.
Okay. Okay, guys. Let's discuss. Okay. So the thing is, whatever we have learned so far, actually, there we learned about the snapshot, right? So we learned about the snapshot. So in this scenario, we have to always take the snapshot in every interval of your in, interval of time for your production environment. Okay, and that snapshot you have to create the AMI. For that, you have to write some automation script to do this automated for you. We cannot achieve this in the console. We have to write the either shell script or any kind of automations which can take your snapshots, okay, for particular time, or the snapshot whatever is taken you can do it the console, but creating images and adding into the templates you have to write the automation script to add that particular image, because that image will contain all the informations, all the data, and but that image will have your snapshot ID, everything, right? So that snapshot will create new server for you, that you have to add it. So you
Yes, sir.
have to also understand what you exactly need. Based on that, you have to write your automations, because this class is totally not this class, because whatever you are learning, DevOps is totally entirely based on the automations only. So we are going to learn and write our own automations. Either you can use the tools or by any scripting languages or any programming languages, either Python or Shell script or PowerShell. You can write whatever you want. Okay, so, okay, guys.
Ranjit, one question.
Yeah, yeah.
One question. One is round robin scheduling is there for our what is that called for load balancer. One is sticky scheduler also there. How a sticky scheduler will be different from the round robin?
So means scheduler means load balancing scheduler or normal scheduler you're talking about.
No, load balancer. For example, we have three things,
Mhm.
three instance you created. For example, how you are assigning the works. For example, something will come. It will check for a server one, server two, server three. Three server are there, and three server are busy. And one there the load balancer what will do the on the job basis schedule they will the schedule the after 20 minute or 30 minute with the round robin scheduling. Same thing, how the sticky scheduler will work, that one I want to know a little bit.
Okay, normally
Or
what? Yeah. So what is
any
actually?
difference round robin or sticky?
Yeah. So what is actually sticky load balancing? the sticky session, whatever you want, actually the meaning itself. Okay, see, actually it is a method whenever we create any nodes and any servers. So you attach that into the load balancer. That means you are attaching, sticking it into the load balancer group. So anytime, anything, any server you are getting, that to be added to the load, the traffic to go to that particular server, that will be handled by the load balancer. Okay, so you
It
mean to
is
say how to set up these sticky nodes, right?
actually for sticky note based on type of request. If you see you have multiple servers, okay, generally the sticky load balancer will calculate certain expression based on the request to redirect. If you see the round robin is random, it every time what request come, irrespective of whatever request, it will rotate within the server. Okay, one after another, same round robin
No,
algorithm.
in round
But
robin there is
sticky,
a time. There is a
yeah,
in
yeah,
round robin there is a different scheduler again.
yeah,
First come first serve and time wise server or
yeah. Means
something random.
it
There
is
is a
like a
different
raw, it is like a raw rotation. Okay, but in a sticky one, you have a expression based on the request what user is sending. Based on the expression, your load balancer will redirect the request to a specific server. Means how
means for
internally it will
example,
handle. But based on request,
what
suppose you are logging
I
into user account. Okay, after that there is a certain thing like payment. If the payment type of request, it can be based on certain string of that particular request what you are sending, like a page, it will redirect to a different server. Suppose you are seeing the reporting of suppose you are logging into your bank account. Okay, reporting part may be going to another server. So based on that web, because if you click a particular web address with a particular value will go, maybe through that it will find out the expression, redirect to another server. So sticky is based on the expression. There should be a logic written. Okay, if this type of expression come in a request, like when you're clicking a in website you are seeing na, in http address, that will be redirect. Okay, this particular statement is there in that key value, redirect to this particular server, like that it will happen.
Yeah, so
it
see,
is on based on the work based balancing or what?
we can set up multiple ways, Sibram. Actually, not only the work based, we can bandwidth based, no latency based. We can set up the weightage based. Any weightage you want to set up, you can do that. And we have a complete class actually in our Route 53 section. We'll see how the
Okay, okay, okay.
balancing
Then
can be achieved.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Then it's fine.
Yeah, there are five types of load balancing ways how we can do that. We'll see in our Route 53 class. Okay.
Okay, okay.
So, okay, guys. So we are not just wasting more time. So what we'll do, we'll jump into the last class, whatever we had discussed. What was it? It was CloudFront and S3. Okay. So last class we are discussing about S3. S3 is a simple storage service of AWS. Okay, simple storage service, and it is actually a object based storage system. So as we had discussed about the EBS as well as the S3, EBS is your elastic block store, which is a bootable storage. Okay, that means you can install your operating system, you can install your applications, and whatever you want, you can do that. But in case of S3, it is actually a storage system to store all your objects. Your object can be ASCII file, your objects can be binary file also. But you cannot install anything in the S3. That is what we had discussed yesterday, sorry, last class. So today we'll do the complete lab class for S3 as well as the CloudFront. Okay, so just 1 minute, let me share my screen and we'll discuss little further about S3. Maybe 1 second. Okay, guys, any doubt or anything on the S3, whatever we had discussed in the last class? Do you have any doubt or anything? Anyway, we'll discuss today also for the AWS S3. Okay, let me just open that file. It's taking some time. Okay, let me share my screen. Sorry. So last class, what we discussed about the complete S3, and guys, remember whatever we discussed, these are the bullet points, and you may get questions in the interview as well as in the certifications. But in the certifications, you'll get more questions whatever we had discussed in the last classes. The interview that they may ask you something the real time, how you stored the database, what is about S3, whether they can tweak their questions and ask you, but that time you have to be well prepared to answer their questions, right? They'll just take if you want to install one application, I put it there, can I install the application, something they can ask you in the real time, but you have to be sure that you can answer their questions. So it is not possible because it is actually an object based storage. Okay, so also S3, what it does, it provides a very good service for the developers and the IT teams to secure and store their project codes. So whatever project, the entire project, they can store it. Because see, any developer when they work any kind of projects or any writing any codes, they always choose a repository to store and manage their codes. So those repository and versioning things also available in the S3 service, so that you don't have to extra and separately use any versioning tool or source code management tool or an SCM tool to maintain and manage your code. Okay, so S3 provides that facility as well. So what it says is object based storage, and it is safe place to store your file, and it has lots of security, it has lots of permissions level, everything to store the file. Now this question, actually files can be from 0 bytes to 5 TB. Okay, files are stored in a files are stored in a bucket. So newly created bucket is private by default. Remember, this is actually will be a tricky questions. Okay, newly created buckets is a private by default. So when we'll do the lab classes, that time we will see it. And S3 is universal namespace. And one more real-time questions, guys, you will get it how many services are not dependent any regions, like though they will ask questions like which services are not region dependent, region specific. Okay, so remember, S3 is one service which is globally unique. That means it does not specify any region. Any region you can just create in any region and you can use anywhere, you will find it anywhere. Okay, now if you see some other topics we had discussed in the last classes, that is S3 storage tiers, right? These are the storage tiers we had discussed, and we had discussed about the versioning, how the versioning is handled by the S3. Okay, so what we had saw about the static websites. So S3 actually is a very good place to host your static website. So guys, you may know that a static website and dynamic website. So static website is only the website which does not have a server side or any business logic written, right? Only simple HTML or CSS page or JavaScript page, whatever you are writing, that is your static website. It will not have any server side programming. Okay, now it's what it says, S3 can be used to host static website, that is serverless website. Okay, like my website, right, ranjitswain.com, if you see, that is actually I have hosted in S3. That website actually I have hosted in S3. I'll show you today. So, and it's very cheap and scales automatically. So we don't have to do that because it's very cheap. Like as I told, 5 GB, up to 5 GB, actually it is free. So your website definitely will not go beyond the 5 GB of data until unless you are making an enterprise level websites or web applications. Okay, so uh, static only cannot host a dynamic website. To host your one website, you need to purchase and set up the DNS part, and this DNS part we'll discuss in Route 53 sections. Okay, then I'll show you how we can do the setups. So next thing is okay, we'll discuss all this later. So we have actually two options called S3 transfer acceleration. I'll show you in the lab class, and the next one is cross region replication. So the cross region replication, actually what happens, whatever the data you stored in one region of S3 bucket, right? If you want to replicate that into the different region, as I told, S3 is a globally unique. But when why we are talking about this region, it will be question in your mind. It will be coming, right. See, though it is a globally unique or globally available everywhere, we need to place the data in some location, right? Some space, but that space will be in any particular region, either in Mumbai or Singapore or America, wherever. It will be one particular region, but you can access anywhere. And sometimes what happens, the replication is most important. To suppose your data, your S3 bucket is in Mumbai region, okay, but you can still available and you can view it in the Singapore region. But the thing is, data retrieval will be little slow because your data is in Singapore, is in Mumbai region, but you are retrieving the data from Singapore. Okay, so in that case, what we can do, we can go for cross region replications. So the cross region replications has some like management or some kind of permissions and security we have to set up before we are doing that. So what it says, versioning must be enabled on both the source and destination bucket. Files in an existing bucket are not replicated automatically. All subsequent updated files will be replicated automatically. That means files in an existing bucket. Suppose you have created a bucket already and you have few data inside the bucket and you are creating the replications now. What will happen? It will not create the replication. Means whatever data is already there in the source bucket, it will not replicate automatically to the destinations. But whenever you add or modified new things into the source after replication, it will be automatically reflected to the destinations. So these things we'll see in examples, don't worry. And when we do the examples, and you will see the real how it is happening. Okay, now let's go to the AWS Management Console. Okay, so I'll show you. It is very actually good things if you understand clearly about S3. So because there are two services which is very frequently, and every company's organization, whoever using AWS services, they are using it. That one is SC2 and the other one is the S3. Okay, these two services are very much being used by the organizations. Okay, so you have to be ready for that. So let me quickly log into that. Let's see. It is 7W. Mhm.
Ranjit, small question. It is generic, not related to S3.
Okay, yeah.
Uh, Actually, recently I visited one of the schools. So while registering the school, I just seen the website. There is no name in the website. Just one IP is coming. So if they want to register and that IP, they just go into that IP and giving slash and register. If they want to see the syllabus, the same IP, and they're giving slash syllabus. So it is directly redirecting to the website. The IP is same, but only what is say like pages and all it is different. So that IP is like a static IP you meant to say, right? So in our organization also they are using static IP so that it won't be changed when the server down also.
Yes. So normally, actually, companies that don't use IP, that's not a good idea. A few companies, actually, few projects, they'll be using the IPs to connect the servers and use their applications. But companies you would have seen, right? Most of the companies they are using the server name, right? The host name, and that IPs will be added as a record into the host name. If you have multiple IPs, suppose in your company you will have multiple servers, right? If you log into any applications with the host name, in case any server having the IP address is broken or is not offline or something is happened, what it will do, it will redirect the another IP, because you don't have to see anything. Whatever the records you are based on your record set of the request will be transferred. Simple example, if I'm using suppose ranjitswine.com, right? See, this is actually my website, right? Whenever I am just hitting this one, this host name will be mapped to an IP addresses. If I set up multiple IP addresses with this host name, what will happen? If one of the IP addresses is down, that means one of the server is down, it will be automatically redirect to the available IP addresses. Okay, in that case, if you want to do, and we can do all these labs in our Route 53 classes, don't worry. But let me tell you. So Venkat, as for your questions, you are asking like if we can have the multiple IP addresses, if you that have suppose three multiple IP addresses, and you want to keep three different applications, okay, three different websites in the three IP addresses. Obviously, based on your routing record setup, based on your record setup and weightage policy, it will be redirect the request to that particular IP addresses. In real time scenario, if you think about this Amazon.com, right? Amazon e-commerce site. What happened based on their geographical location, right? Based on the region, they are setting redirect their traffic request to the particular server. Suppose for India customer, they have a different server. For USA customer, they have a different server. For Singapore customer, for any Australian customer, they have different servers. But when we do Amazon.com, based on your location, it will redirect your request to that particular server, so that whatever the products for India people based on Indian currency, it will display you, right? Some sites you will have seen whenever you give that Amazon.com, it will go to the, suppose you are in America, it will give you, it will show you in the dollar. If you are in India, it will show you in Indian rupee. Okay, that we can do the setups. Here I'm giving you small
This all
yeah,
this all can do by domain name services.
exactly,
Domain names, DNS.
DNS,
Yeah.
and that will run in Route 53. Okay, suppose here I'm actually see, I have one more link here, ranjitswine.com/devops class. If I hit this one, I have given a redirection to a different IP addresses. Okay, so let me hit this one. You see it is redirecting to somewhere. You can see it here. It is redirected to these IP addresses. but I hit ranjitswine.com, but it redirected to this IP addresses. If I similarly, if I, so this is actually the redirection I have done in the code level or in the record level I have set up. But in real time, when we see in the DNS label, we will have set up multiple records that we'll discuss. Okay, so if we discuss that one, that Route 53 class will take 2 days, 2 hours or more than that time. Okay, so we'll discuss further that one. Don't worry. Let me just discuss about S3. So what happens, S3 you will find in the storage section. You can see all services in the storage section will find S3. Just click on this S3. See guys, if you see here, I have few buckets already created. Okay, I have few buckets already created. So when you click on the S3, you will be landed into the dashboard, and you can see here buckets, access point, and this Lambda access points, everything. But we'll discuss about these details more when we create the buckets and work on that. So you can see here, create bucket options are there. As I told you, whatever we have to do, we have to do based on the bucket only. Whatever we create and put everything into a bucket. So just go ahead and create a bucket. And one more thing, guys, have you noticed when I select S3 here, the region has shows the global, right? So if I go and ahead and click C2, it will give you the correct region, like whatever the region you have logged in, right? It will give you Mumbai region. Gives me the Mumbai region. But whenever I'm selecting S3, see just notice here, whenever I'm selecting S3, it will convert to global. That means S3 does not rely on the regions. Okay, see, it converts to global. Now hit on the create bucket, just give a bucket name, and remember the bucket name, as I said, it is unique. It should be unique. If I create a bucket name called Ranjit, right? So if you have want to see the rules for the bucket naming, you can just click on this link and you can find the what are the rules to create the bucket. Okay, the entire details find it here. So the bucket names must be between 3 and 63 characters long. Bucket names can consist only lower letters, numbers, dots, and alphabets. All these informations available. So what it says, bucket names must not be formatted as an IP addresses. We cannot create a bucket name with the IP addresses. Okay. And what else says, bucket names must not be start with xn, and what it says, bucket names must be unique within a partition. A partition is a grouping of region. AWS currently has 3 partitions: AWS standard region, China region, and AWS Gulf Cloud US regions. These are the partitions. In these partitions, we should be, whatever bucket you are creating should be unique. Okay, so that's, let's create a bucket here. I can just give suppose unique name. I can give DevOps weekend batch demo. I gave a name here, weekend batch demo. So here the AWS region. So which region you want to put your data? Okay, that you have to select it. See, you can select the region here. I just want to keep it in the Mumbai region. Let it be there. So copy settings from the existing bucket. This is optional. So if you want to uh, copy the properties, whatever is already set up in the existing bucket, you can select this choose bucket option. and whatever buckets are available here, you can choose one of them and you'll find it. Okay, let me just increase this one to a little bit. Okay, now we can choose all these informations, and suppose I want to get it copied everything from this one, I can select it and choose it. Let's cancel this one, I'm not going to choose. And here um, in the class, right, I told you by default the buckets are private, right?
Private.
Yes. So if you see here, block public access setting for this bucket, it has actually blocked all the public accesses. It is checked. So if you want to make this one as public, you have to untick this one. You have to just untick. What is happening? Okay, you have to just untick this one. Now what happens? It is now public. So it is giving one warning. So just acknowledge that I made it. I made it public now. And the bucket versioning, as I told guys, once you select this bucket versioning, you cannot disable, you cannot terminate or anything. Okay, you cannot disable it, you have to suspend that one. Okay, so what you did, bucket versioning, I'm just going to select enable the bucket. Now tags, give a tag, means just give a name to the or give a tag. Suppose demo bucket I'll give. Okay, so encryptions, you can give a server side encryption if you want. Just give the encryptions or leave it. Now advanced settings, here object lock. If you want to lock your object, what it says, store objects using a write once read many model to help you prevent objects from being deleted or overwritten for a fixed amount of time. So it is very simple. The object lock means you are locking your object so that nobody can delete or overwrite your objects. You can do it. So the user who has logged into the AWS account and has put the data, that will be logged. So if I tomorrow I'm just logging to my account and I'm going to delete that object or overwrite anything, it will not allow me. So you can select that one. Now let's go ahead and create a bucket. So it says successfully created a bucket. So if you go here, you can find the DevOps weekend batch demo is created, and what it says, the AWS region Asia Pacific Mumbai access level, it says objects can be public. That means objects can be public, but still it is not a public. Okay, can be public. We gave the public access to the bucket. Now we created the bucket, just go ahead inside the bucket, and here you'll find all the other informations. Okay, now let me simply upload one file into that. Upload, because as it is an object based storage, we are uploading the objects. The object could be anything, can be binary, can be ASCII files, text file, PDF file, your documents, your image files, your video files, or your any jar file, war file, whatever you want to put it, you can put it over here. Okay, now what you are going to do, add files. Let me just add one simple okay, let me add something. Okay, I put one file name that is called one image currency one.png. Okay, so let me just upload it. The file is uploaded. Now if you want to access this file, just go to the bucket. Okay, here in the bucket you can see the file is uploaded, right? How you'll access this file, just click on this file and you'll find one object URL. You can find one object URL. So here is the object overview, and here actually the information which is very important you to understand. See, Here what it says, S3 URI, and this is Amazon resource name and the tag and the object URL. Why is given these things and when you need to use all this information? See, whenever you are working anything in the programming line, right, you're developing something and rewriting in the SDK software development kit, and you want to access programmatically, what you have to do, you have to use this URI link. This is a programmatic way to use it. And similarly, the Amazon ARN also, the resource names, you are writing any programs or any SDK, you want to any API, any program interface you are making, you have to use this ARN, this link. And what is this tag? The tag actually represents the number of versions you are, the number of files you are uploading, the same files. It will, as I told, it will create a different tag and different versions. So we can use this tag to get that particular versions of the file while writing in the program. Okay, this whatever I said you actually related to the programmatic access. In our AWS IAM class, right? IAM user creation, we had seen two ways. One is web console access, another one is the programmatic access. So why we need the programmatic access? Because the developer need only the programmatic access to communicate with AWS resources from the programs, from their code, right? But this object URL, we can directly use that one. Just copy this, come here and just paste it in the browser, and you'll find the file. Okay, so guys, what this means, it means we don't have access to the objects.
Public.
So this object does not have public access. Okay, what I have to do now, just go here, just go to the permissions. You should be in the file, go to the permissions here, and you can find here access control list, ACL, access control list. We can see here the object owner has only read and write permissions, but public access, see, it does not have anything, the public access. What I can do, just edit it and give only objects read access, nothing is required. Okay, and here I understand, and then save changes. So before giving it, let me explain one more thing. You can see here authenticated user group, add anyone with an AWS account. If you want to specify who wants to use this URL or who should have access to this URL, you can select these options and you can provide. Okay, let's remove this and add grantee. See, add grantee. What you have to do, you have to get the, what is this guys, the grantee, the canonical ID. The canonical ID, you can find it here, my account, right? So this ID for my account, this is my unique ID, right? For your account, you have one unique ID. So suppose I'm going to give Siva portal to access this link. So what I have to do, I have to get the account ID of Siva and put it here, give read access, so that he can able to access that one. Okay, so let me just make it public only. So public, and I understand it, save changes. Okay, now let's go and refresh it. See, I can able to access the images through the URL. So we can find it, this is the URL, bucket URL, the object URL through which we can access that object. Okay, now what we want to do, so this is suppose one binary file, because images are the binary file, right? Binary files, images, I cannot do the versioning. Okay, even though I want to put a different version of the same file, suppose let me put another file. Okay, and I let me do some changes. Let me add some text file that will show you how the versioning works. Okay, now let's go to the bucket And before that, let me create one simple file. Let me create one demo file where I can, okay. Suppose demo file for S3 lab. Okay, just gives just some data I entered into here. Let me save this one. Test txt file. Okay, now let me upload it here. Add files. Okay, so the first object, whatever I showed you, just uploaded the file, and then I showed you how to give the public access to the object. But here what I'm going to show you, while uploading also you can set the public permissions. You can provide the public access, then everyone can use it. So here you can see one permissions tab, right? Just click on this permissions, and here itself you can give grant public read access. Select it, access it, upload. Okay, we got the file here. Just open this file now. No, this what I can go, close it, open this link, copy this one. Okay, go to here, paste it. See, demo file for S3 lab. Let me modify this file, add one more line, second line for versioning demo. I add one more line here. Okay, let me save it. What I'm going to do here now, simply upload the file again. Upload, add files, test.txt. Okay, so let's upload it. What will happen, guys, if I go to, let me close this and go to the bucket. If I just go and refresh this one, what will happen? So it gives me access denied. Why? Because S3 has default, it makes everything private. Default makes everything private. You have to make, every time you upload the file, you have to make it public, otherwise it will not work. Even though you have already uploaded the same file with public access, and you are uploading the same file again with some content changes into that, as the versioning is enabled, it will not allow you to access your updated version until unless you provide public access. Okay, so remember guys, this is, you have to work in. So what we can do now, just go to the object and modify the permissions quickly. See, here we don't have the read access. Just everyone read it and save it. So now one question will be coming in your mind, right? So this is not a good idea, right? Every time you're uploading the files and changing, you have to check the public options, and you have to
Bucket.
make public and then do that one, right? Sorry.
Some setup will be there in bucket level.
Yes, we'll see that one. Okay, now what we'll see now, if we go here and we can refresh this, see, we have now the updated file. But if we go here and check the versioning of this file, go and select this one and go to the versions tab. See, we have now two versions of the file. One is the old version and this is the current version. This is the version tag. These are the tags. If you want to if you want to access the previous version, just click on this and get this URL. Copy this URL and you can see with this URL, it has the version ID and the entity tag. You can see here the entity tag is different and the version ID is different. This is the version ID. By using this version ID, if I go here, put it here, and you will find the old file. See, it has the only one line, but our current file is having two lines. This is how the versioning works. Okay, so as I told, we cannot disable the versioning. So what we have to do, see, versioning is enabled. If you want to disable this versioning, what we have to do, we have to suspend the versioning. We cannot disable it. Okay, so let's go and do that. Let me go here. So let me show you all these things. Select this object and you can find it here. Lots of other options like copy the S3 URI, copy the URL, download the file. You can even download to your local laptop or desktop. Okay, and if you want to open, it will directly open into a different tab. If you want to delete, you can delete it. Just action. What it says here, rename the objects. You can make it and make public also options here. You can make the public it directly, creating these actions. Go here, make public. Okay, and if you want to copy the data itself, you can copy and you can move it, you can download whatever you want. You can, using these options, you can do that. If you want to create a subfolder, if you want to create a subfolder within this bucket, you want to create a folder, you can just hit this one and create one folder. Just give a folder name here and create the folder here. It's very simple. I'm not creating it. Okay, now if I go to the objects here again, let's click this objects and you'll find here object actions. Same actions whatever we saw there, we can find it here as well. Okay, now let's go to the versions again. Click any one of these. It is not giving me to edit anything. Okay, it is not giving me edit the versions also. So if I go here and select again, go to the versions, see, everything is now disabled. So versions things, as I told, sorry, everything is now grayed out, it's disabled, so it will not allow us to disable the versions. Okay, that is what is written in
Then
the.
select over.
So once versioning is enabled, it cannot be disabled, it can be suspended only. Okay, so we cannot disable it. Okay, now what we'll do, suppose let's go to the properties again and you'll find see the entity tag for the updated the latest version, actually 808. Okay, if you go there and get the previous versions, sorry, yeah, go to the previous versions and you'll find different entity tag. Suppose click it here and it is 07522. This is a different entity tag. Now let's, okay, do you have any questions guys so far, or I'll move into some advanced topic of S3. This is what I told you, the basics.
We'll move.
So ARN and URI that I didn't get actually. Like why this is there? Is
This,
there any?
okay, this URI and URL and ARN, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so see, whatever we accesses the objected, whatever the object we accessed, how we accessed it, using the object URL. So this is the URL. Through the browser directly you can access it. We don't have to write any programming code or anything to access the object. So, because you are uploading one object and storing it, and somewhere you are accessing it to use it, right? You have to use that object, that's why you are storing it there. So how you can access that object? You stored in your S3 bucket, but you want to suppose that your developers are working in that particular, your developers, suppose you have 4 developers are working in the particular project file, and you are uploading that particular file into the S3 bucket. Then how they will access this file? By using these three different methods. One is object URL. Directly, if you then want to access or download the file, they can use the URL. Or if they want to access the file the programmatic way, the programmatic way in the sense they're writing the code, and you are using some kind of shell scripting to download, or shell scripting to upload the file, or shell scripting to download the file. So you can use the S3 URI. If you give this link, you have to write in your programming code. That is the programmatic way you are accessing the object. Okay. Now, and this ARN actually, whenever you are writing any kind of API, application programming interface, right? Any kind of API, any in SDK, in software development kit, you are, if you want to set the configurations, you need to give this Amazon resource name ARN. You have to provide it. Got this point?
Yes, yes, I got.
And this entity tag actually based on the objects versions it changes, right? So if you want particular objects to be retrieved, particular versions of objects to be retrieved, so you have to use the entity tag. Okay, you have to use this entity tag in your programs, not in your URL or in any browser. You have to use in your programming code. Suppose you are writing a Java program or C program or any Python programs, you can use all these options to retrieve the object. Okay, so if you want to download this object, how we can do it? You can simply click on this download, and you can see here one download option. It is downloaded the file to my laptop. Okay, now let's see about some advanced versions and advanced topic about this. Guys, I think this question is not coming to your mind, but let me tell you, when we are uploading, okay, what is the size of the file you can upload into a bucket? What is the maximum size of file you can upload into a bucket?
Based on bucket size, the maximum size of the bucket with some
That's okay,
text.
but I just told
It's
you, right? What is the maximum size you can upload?
type.
5 TB.
5 GB something.
No,
5 TB.
5 TB. So 5 terabyte. Think about that. 5
But
terabyte of files, size of files you can upload into the bucket. So think, guys, if you upload a file having some, suppose 10 GB, yeah, 10 GB of files. Think how much time it will take to upload a file into a bucket. Based on your, again, based on your network, that's okay. But normally it will take lots of time to upload a file. Even small 1 GB of file, if you're uploading, if you have a lowest bandwidth, it will take more time to do. So how we can speed up this upload? How we can speed up the upload process into the bucket? That we need to know. Okay, how we can do that? We can by using the bucket global acceleration. Okay, whatever I said here, we have this S3 transfer acceleration. This is the globally we can accelerate the speed of the uploading process. Okay, what is it? To speed up the upload into S3 bucket. Whatever upload we are doing, that we are going to use S3 transfer acceleration. You may get a questions how to speed up the upload process. Okay, so how we can do that? Simple way. So we have to see select the bucket. The bucket is this one. Go to the properties. Okay, go to the properties. In these properties we'll find lots of options here. So as I told, we cannot disable the versioning, we can suspend only, right? So what we can do here, the bucket versioning is enabled, and if you want to disable it or want to suspend it, just edit it and see suspend. Okay, so what it says, if you select the suspend option here, the bucket functionalities below are impacted by this change, lifecycle and all this whatever, you have to acknowledge it and save changes. Okay, but I'm not doing it now, just cancel it. So another question to you guys, so versioning is object level or bucket level?
Way bucket level.
Yes, so the versioning you have to put it, enable it in the bucket level, okay, not object level. So let's move on, and here we can see the intelligent tiering are, okay, it's not required. Server access logging, we are talking about the transfer acceleration, right? See the transfer acceleration, what it says, that current the transfer acceleration for this actually is disabled. To is disabled, that means whatever file will upload, it will be based on your bucket policy and setup, it will be uploaded the file. If you want to speed up the process, you have to enable this transfer acceleration. What it says, use an accelerated endpoint for faster data transfers. Let's edit it. Remember, this does not come under free tier, you have to pay for that. Okay, so let me edit it, and you can just enable, and what it says, accelerated endpoint. So it gives an accelerated endpoint. Using this endpoint, you can upload all your files in a faster way. I'll show you how we can upload it. I have another bucket where I have activated this transfer acceleration. Okay, so what it says, use the accelerated endpoint for faster data transfer, which will incur an additional fees. You have to pay for that. Okay, some additional fee you have to pay for this properties. Now I'm not just enabling, I'm just leaving it. So let's cancel this one. I'll show you another bucket where I have activated this. Okay, let's move on to that bucket. So here, suppose my bucket name is, I think, the DevOps class. No, it's Cloud DevOps MB. Okay. Yes, so here you guys, you can see I have many videos uploaded. I have many videos. Let me just minimize this. Okay, you can see here I have many videos uploaded here. See, lot more videos uploaded. Now while uploading here, you can see the video size is suppose 1.4 GB, 2.2 GB of videos and all, right? So these videos, whatever I have uploaded here, was taking a lot more time to upload the videos. What I did for that, I just went to the properties and made the transfer activations enabled. See, it is enabled, and I have the accelerated endpoint to transfer the file. So we'll see these transfer accelerations in our programmatic classes when we'll do the programmatic way to access the AWS by using AWS CLI. That time I'll show you how we can use this endpoint to deliver or upload a file quickly. If you, without using endpoint, if you upload a file, it will take, suppose it will upload suppose 60 KB per second or 50 KB per second. But if you use this endpoint, it will be more than 1 MB per second, it will upload the file. it will be faster. Okay, so now you understood, and you can see here I have activated this and I am paying extra for that. If you see my billing cycle, you will be seeing like 2000 or 3000 rupees for this month alone, it will be there. Okay, so just go for billing here, and if you want to see the billings, and be careful guys, whatever you are using, some are in free tier and some will be in your see, for the last month bill, actually it was $28.99. $28.99. So if I click it here, it will be almost okay. So what is that? Go to your order and invoices, and here is my invoices, and it is actually 2157. It converts to the dollar. So total 33.38 USD dollar, and my payment is overdue. I have to pay for that. So sometimes after this class I have to pay for this one. Okay, why it suddenly increases? Because normally I used to pay 300 200 something every month, but suddenly it increases to 2000 rupees. Why? Because I use this S3 very frequently. If I go here, and one more thing guys, for this month actually it is calculating only 3 rupees so far, and it has given a forecast up to $8. If I use more S3 again this month, then I have to pay again around 2000 rupees. I'm not going to use this month. Okay, so as I told you guys, S3 gives only 5 GB pay. So 5 GB only comes under the free tier, but the rest will be chargeable. Okay, so what we have to do, if I go my S3 sections, and I'll see the files, actually I have uploaded more than 10 GB or more than 15 GB of files are there. So if I go to this bucket, you'll find these videos actually more than 15 GB. Okay, more than 10 GB or 15 GB of videos I have uploaded. That's why, see, all are uploaded in July months only, right? June and July months. So that's why I have to pay 2000 rupees for that. Okay, fine. So again, because of this transfer acceleration I enabled, I also paid extra fees for that. Okay, so you have to be careful, but you can do small practice. You can do it immediately and you can close it. Okay, just how you have to close it, just go to the properties. Let me show you. I don't need, I think, anymore, so I can just disable this one. I just edit it and disable. It's very simple. Save changes. Now if I upload the anything into the bucket, it will be very slower. Okay, it will be very slower. Now if I go to this and see, it is now disabled. Okay, so this is very good ways guys, and you'll get questions, and real time you have to work it, and definitely you'll get a questions. Okay, how to accelerate or how to speed up the upload process. The next one is, we'll talk about the cross region replications. So what is this cross region? Means if you want to place a file from one region to another region, because see, though it is globally available, but okay, let me show you the example here. Suppose I have this bucket. Okay, if I go to my bucket sections, I have global, and if you see, click here, everything is disabled. So what it says, S3 does not require any region selection. S3 does not require region selections. Okay, now I cannot select any region to place the file. Then how I can transfer this file to different region? That is cross region replication. So why we need cross region replications, guy? Any real time example you can, any real time example you can give why we need this cross region replications? Anything in your coming in your mind, because we all are working in the real production environment, right? Why we need this cross region replications? Any ideas? Any guess?
Most of the end user are in another region, so for the business users access the file, so we have to host it or share it in a different region.
Yeah, that's a good. That's one good question. But another answer, sorry, that is a good answer actually. Another answer is there, which is most important that I need actually, and everyone
Backup and recovery.
exactly when another thing, another answer also there.
Accessibility also.
Yeah, that covers in the first answer. Okay, accessibility. And the one thing which is you guys all know, it will be in your finger, in your tongues, in your top of your tongue,
There,
but you are not telling. That is the
there,
exactly that is the disaster recovery. See, everything we put in the Mumbai region. Okay, Mumbai region. What if the Mumbai region goes down? We cannot access our data, right? We need these cross-region replications to store our data in different region as well, so that if Mumbai goes down, we'll have at least Singapore or other regions available so that we can access those data. That is one first. The second is whatever Sivaram yeah, whoever told, I think that is the end users based on the locations uses, that will be faster up, speed up the accessing. Okay, and whatever the Siva Patel told, like what Siva you told, sorry I forgot that one.
sorry.
Sorry.
For deer activity, you need to have those.
Yeah, deer activity is the first topmost answer. Actually, for deer activity, we need it. Okay, let's do that and set up this cross-region replications. So how we'll do it? Suppose let me select this demo and go to the properties here. You have to go to the
And
manage.
Ranjit, by default, it will make a copy into another region, right? By default,
Sorry, no, by
because in your
okay.
PPT it was mentioned like it will make sure it will be available 99.99% to make a copy in another second slide.
Yes,
Multiple facilities.
that is right.
So what
Store redundantly across multiple devices in multiple facilities. 99.99% availability. That's good catch. Sorry, who's this? I didn't see.
thank you.
Hey, hi, Venkat. Sorry. That's a good catch, actually. So, guys, here it says 99.99% is availability. What does that mean? That means AWS ensured that whatever data you store in the S3, they provide 100% availability. That means it will never go down. So, how they achieve this one? They will achieve using these cross-region replications. Also, they internally store all your data in a different regions by themselves. That's why they are giving 100% availability. In case anything is goes down, that data will be automatically replicated from the other region to the Mumbai regions or other regions. The endpoint, whatever you are using, will be automatically transferred to that regions. So they are using actually this functionality to make available of your data 100%. Okay, so how manually you can set up these replications, that the replications done by the AWS automatically, and they do it in the backend to make sure that customer will get the data available 100% for them. But how, as a developer or as you are using the AWS S3 objects, how you want yourselves to be replicated and make your customers to use and retrieve your data? Okay, that we need to know it first. So how we can achieve that? Just click on the bucket, go to the management section here, right? For transfer acceleration, you have to go to the properties and there you have to update it. But if you want to any permissions related things, you have to go to this permissions tab. Okay, and if you want to edit any if you want to make it private, you can just edit this one and select this and save it, so it will be private, right? If I block it all, it will be private. It will be now save changes, it will be private, and we cannot access the objects. Okay, let me just do that, save changes, and you are going to make it confirm. Just confirm it here, confirm, and let's do that. So the permission overview, I blocked all the public accesses. If I go and refresh this, see, it immediately access denied. So what we can do here, simply go again, remove this, save the changes, confirm, save changes, go here and refresh it. Wow, it's not working. One thing guys noticed, when I change this one, the TTL was active for few seconds, time to live, right? The time to live TTL we are discussed in we had discussed in last classes, right? The TTL time to live on the page in the web. So it was active for few seconds. Once that is done, it is refreshed. Okay. Also, the setup what we did private to public, it took some time. Another thing I want to show you here, when I was talking about to uploading the file, every time we have to give the public permissions to access the file, read access the file. Here is another options. If you go to these permissions, here we set up the block public access bucket settings, and here we have some policies there. You can write the policies. If you have your own policy, you want to add it, you can add these policies here. And the access control list of your bucket, access control list of your bucket. This, if you see here, we have public access, actually none, no one can access this. So if you want to make this entirely public, what you have to do, we have to just edit this everyone access, just make it object as list only, list. Okay, and just understand this and save changes. If I go to this Amazon S3 again, guys, see, can you see the difference here? Other buckets are objects can be public, but here the object itself are access level is entirely public. What is the security breach here, guys? What is the security breach? Can anybody tell me?
Default setup is created so that public can see it,
Ex-
but for other, it is later stage has been created.
See, if you give the entire bucket as entire,
Setting just upload and display.
okay, the security breach here, actually, suppose I have two files here in this bucket, right? And I have only shared a link with you with test.txt, but I have not shared the link of this currency file. But if I give this file as publicly accessible, you can have access to both of the files. You can easily find it out what are the contents available in this bucket, and you can easily access that link. So it is very dangerous to make this publicly accessible. We never do that. Okay, then how we'll achieve this? While uploading the objects into the buckets, and we don't have to give it public every time. That is one option is there. In the console you cannot do that, but in the programmatic way, using the AWS CLI, we have one options to set it up. while uploading the file, you have to give that tag flag like -read, so that
Okay.
SQL -read, then it will be.
As it is that Ranjit,
Yeah,
that option is there. But in what scenario this kind of option we can use it? Any example something?
yeah.
Because that
So,
option is already existing there.
hmm, yeah, exactly. So in some cases, like you want to make your entirely bucket is dedicated for public only. Let me show you one example here. If I want these videos, whatever I have uploaded here, everyone can view these videos, and everyone can see whatever the contents are there in the bucket. Then what I have to do? I have to make it public. But I don't want everyone to see the what are the files are there. There will be some files which will be sensible informations. I don't want to share those files with the public. Only the file which I want to share with the public, that public can only view that particular file. The other file he cannot view it. Got my point, right? But it is a security concerns if you are using, and if you are not using properly, because whatever content informations you're suppose you are working for a project, suppose open source project, let me tell you in this way. Suppose you are working for an open source project, and you don't want to share some confidential informations to the public, but you are keeping those informations in the S3 bucket, but you don't want to share. In that case, you have to only make it as can be public. You don't have to give access. And if you don't feel like this everything whatever in that open source project is entirely open for public, and you can make it as public, so everyone can see all the files whatever the content is there in the bucket. To view the entire content, you can make it public.
No,
Got
no.
the point?
Actually, you told like if you give a complete public for this any bucket some files, that
Mhm.
person whom you are giving that link, he can able to see the all the content means inside that what are the files are there, right? So where we can give that restriction? You are telling like we can give some restriction that person can view on some few files and other file he can't view it. But
So
if you are giving public means it can see the all files, right? In that bucket,
how
whatever things are there.
no, no,
So
no,
how
wait.
we can restrict?
Wait. Okay. Suppose I gave you this link. Let me just give you one link. Suppose. Wait. Let me go to that one. Here, I'll share the link of test.txt file with you. Okay. In this bucket, there is also another file that is called currency1.png. I shared only test.
Randomly, you can put.
Yeah, I just shared test.txt with you. Okay. How would you know that what files are there in the bucket and you can access it? Can you know
You
what are
can randomly put. I think you can demo. The link is there, na. If you open the
ah,
currency.png,
that
I
is
think the
why.
base link will be same. Yeah,
Okay, see.
you can try and error.
That's the way, that is why the security breach. Where to randomly, suppose if I remove this one, okay, and hit it here, see, now you can find what are the files in the bucket, because I made it entirely public. Now if some hackers want to see what are the files are there in the bucket, suppose he wants to see this what is content here. Now what he has to do, simply copy this link, put it here, okay, and copy the currency here file and give it here. Sorry, did not copy it. Okay, copy it here, put it, hit enter. See, but I had only shared with you text.txt. You should not know this currency.png. If I remove this completely accessible, let me remove it and show you how it behaves like this. Just select it, permissions, edit it, remove, save changes. Let me refresh it. See, it gives access denied. But if I refresh this page, it will be still there because I have access to this object only, but I don't have access to the bucket. I have access to, this is called object level access, and this is the bucket level access. The bucket level access I blocked for everyone. Nobody can access my bucket, but everyone can access my objects. Now you understood?
Yeah, yeah, it's
But still, it in your mind it will be there, like um, why this need to be public, right? See, if you,
Ranjit, one thing.
yeah, yeah, please.
Uh, in bucket there is a lot of files. In means a lot of objects.
Hmm.
In bucket we can give the public. They can in the bucket we can give the private permission to the all the objects. You are able to, for example, in folders, so many folders are there. One root folder, there is a lot of folder.
Hmm.
You can see the folder, root folder. Inside that there is a so many folders are there, but you can see but you cannot access. Like that you can give the permission.
Yes, that is what we gave the permission, right? Suppose we can see the
Yeah.
buckets. We just see whatever we did. We had access, blocked the buckets label, but we have
Okay.
given permissions to the objects. We gave the
Okay.
permissions to the object, but we blocked the access to the bucket label. Similarly, suppose, let me show you another bucket where I have created a folder. Suppose here, if you see, just go to DevOps web.ansible. Here I have one folder called target. Okay, if I go to this, if I see the bucket level permissions here, see it is entirely no access to everyone. Okay, if I go here, let's go to the, sorry, let's go to the objects, and here if I go to this folder, go to the properties, here you can see only the URL informations, but you don't have anything. You can change the bucket, sorry, change the folders. Okay, now I'm going to make this one as public. Let me do the entirely public. Just go to the permissions. Let's see how it looks like. Edit this list, and I understand the effects. Okay, save changes. Mhm. Now what it says, this is to entirely public. Okay, now let me copy this web plus targets. So the links I need to get it right, and here copy, put it here, and if I just give the only bucket, what it will display. See what it gives. It gives me the entirely folder with the object. I have only one object that is called DevOps web.war file, and which under which target it gives the details also. If you give the folder entirely public, that means you are giving a key to the hackers or anybody who should not have access. They can easily find it out what are the files in which folder you have, and they can easily access it. What they have to do, simply copy this one and give it here, right? Slash, what it will do, it will download the file for me. See, okay, it, this the specified key does not exist. Ocha, target T is not there. Okay, target T, hit enter, access denied. Why it says access denied? Let me go to that file. Okay, let's see the permissions of this object. I think the object also does not. Okay, so this object also does not have any read permission. That's why it gives me access denied. That's fine. So Sivaram or Tanmay was asking, Sivaram, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Sivaram. So did you understand or
Yeah, I got it.
yeah? So okay, that's all, guys. Okay, now you understood this one. Okay, let me go to the and finish the replications first. So go this here and let me remove this as edit. So how we can get it? Just go to the bucket, go to the management section here. In the management sections, you'll find one replication rules. See, one replication rules. So in this replications rule, we have to set up now. So let's create one replication rule here. Enter the rule name and rule ID. So any rule ID you have to just give it. Okay, anything like an enabled source bucket. So the source bucket is actually the bucket name and the source region. This is actually in the Mumbai specific region, right? Going to just copy from this source bucket to the destination bucket. What it says, choose a rule scope, limit the scope of this rule using one or more filters. So let it be there. And prefix, if you want to add any prefix, you can add it here. And destination, you have to choose a bucket in this account. So let's specify a bucket in another account or choose a bucket in this account. So what is the bucket name? You can give the bucket name here. Okay, so okay, I have all buckets in actually in Mumbai regions. We don't have anything in the other different region, right? So first what we have to do, we have to create the bucket in different region. So let's go ahead and create a bucket. Replication bucket. Okay, you have to give the replication bucket name. So how we can create it? Simply go ahead and create a bucket, a new bucket. Okay, and give a bucket name. Suppose what was that bucket name? Let's copy the bucket. DevOps weekend batch demo, right? I can make it as DevOps weekend batch demo. Suppose I want to make it in the Singapore region. I gave as Singapore. Okay. Now change the region to Singapore. So here you can AWS region, select the region, change it to Asia Pacific Singapore region. Okay, got it. Now block all public access. Okay, and what I told, the both replications source and destination bucket should be version enabled. So we have to enable the version, otherwise it will not work. So we have to enable the versions. Okay, now let's rest of the things leave it as it is, create a bucket. Okay, now we can see here we have a bucket in the Singapore region. Okay, let's do replications now. Okay, now create replications rule enabled source bucket, this one, and destination bucket we have to choose it here. Now let me refresh this. Okay, now the bucket came as Singapore, this one, so I want to make this one as my replication bucket. Okay, choose the path, got it. Now so we can set up this IAM role here. If you have any IAM role you want to set up, you can set this IAM roles here. Okay, suppose I give as S3 full access, whatever, but it's not required. If you want to give it here. And then encryptions method, if you have any server side encryptions, and if you want to put any encryptions method, you can put it here. And destination storage class, it also provides to select the destination storage class. You can change it. The standard one I have used, but if you want to change it, you can change this one. And advanced replications options, you can just give a replication time control, RTC. What it says, replication time control replicates 99.9% of new objects within 15 minutes and provides replication metrics and notification. Additional fees will be applied. So whatever things, actually it is additional fees, it will be applied. So I'm not going to choose it anyone. So let's save it. I'm going to show you the demo only, but I'm not choosing this anyone else. So just save it here. Now we created one replication. What it says, replication configuration successfully updated. So we have, see, the replication name Sing 123, and this is the destination bucket. Now if I go to the what as for our slide, what we saw the first time when we activate these replications, the objects whatever there in this bucket, in this demo bucket in the Mumbai region, will not be available in the Singapore region bucket. See, nothing is there. Now if I add test.txt here, right, is there. If I add another version of test.txt, what will happen? Let's see what I'm going to do. Let's upload the file. Let's update anything here. Another line, suppose third line for replication demo. I submit here, upload the same file again, add files, permissions, grant public access, yes. Okay, now what I did, I uploaded the file. Let's see what is happening here. If I just click on this version, you will see the latest version of the file. See the latest version, and we have two previous versions. If I go to the Singapore this bucket and refresh this, let's see what is happening. It's not uploading. It's taking time, or it's not uploading. 1 second. Just wait for a few seconds. Okay, maybe there is something why it is not working. Did I miss something? Okay, so if you see here, okay, if you see here, it says the replication status failed. Just check the view replication, the rules actually. The replication itself has not done actually. Status is enabled, priority. Why the creation of replications? The replication rule actually did not happen properly. Okay, so we have to fix it. Resolution bucket. Priority actions. Status is enabled. The source bucket. This tool is applied. Everything seems fine. Okay, but why it is failing? Let me remove this. Suppose I don't need any. Else let me. I don't need also anything. Save the changes. Okay. It is looking for a rule. Okay. Okay. So here is the culprit actually. So when we selecting the IAM role, we have to create a new IAM role for us. Okay, we have to create a new IAM role, or we can select the existing role, but that should be the cross region replication role, not the normal IAM role. It should be cross region. See, I have done S3 CRR cross region role for DevOps class. We have two existing roles here. Any one of them, if I select, then it will work. So what I can do it here, I can simply create a new role this time. Let's create a new role. Automatically, it will create a new role for you. You don't have to give any name. Okay, just select the create new role and save the changes. Okay, save the changes. Now, okay, see here, it created a new role called S3 CRR role for DevOps Weekend Batch Demo. This for this bucket, it created the one URL. Now let's quickly move on to the bucket here. Okay, and just refresh it. As we replication started now, we will not have the files. Now let's change something. Fourth line, just I added line called fourth line. Okay, now let me upload this into the main bucket quickly. Just go ahead and upload into this. Upload it. So what I can do is just close this one, and if I uploaded the file, right, just refresh this here. Oh, still file is not coming. Okay, so if I select this version, now the file is there. Actually, the file came here. So it takes just few seconds to come the file, and the storage class is standard. So now you can see here when I just replicated the thing as for our thing, what it says, versioning must be enabled on both source and destination bucket. Remember guys, you have to enable the versioning first in the source as well as in the destination. The second one is files in an existing bucket are not replicated automatically. So whatever the existing files in the bucket, currency one and the text, it automatically did not replicate. And the next one, what it says, all subsequent updated files will be replicated automatically. That means I just updated the test.txt file, and this actually has been uploaded into the replication file. Okay, now another thing, so this test.txt file will have more than 3 or 4 versions, right? If I check these versions, it will have 4 versions. But if you see here, replication side, it will have only one version of files. Click this one, and if I go to the versions, we'll have only one versions, the current versions. That means it will also not copy the versions of the existing files in the source bucket. So got it guys? I think it should be clear. If you have any questions, please let me know. We'll discuss. Or else we'll wind up this call for today, and tomorrow we'll see this CloudFront lab. Also, we'll move on to the AWS CLI, the automations, that the command line, how we can automate our code. Okay, without using the AWS console, how we'll automate the stuff we can see using the AWS CLI in our next classes.